because you can't help it. You're going to get into the jam and you're going to be like, okay. And honestly, dancing, dance it out. That's
Yeah,
life is
it's
about
way to get you
whatever's
moving.
happening. All right. Ready?
I am ready. Let's do it.
Woo! Okay. All
Yes.
right. Well, I did a lot of research about this podcast stuff. So I found the music that's not copyrighted. I could use it, the background, the site here. All right. So, hey, we're going to get right to it. Howdy,
Let's do it.
and welcome to Pinky's Powerhouse Productions podcast. My name is Tanya, aka Pinky. When life kicks you in the gut or slaps you in the face, how do you get back up? What motivates you or inspires you to find the passion and energy to fight and be heard? Take back your life and then show others to inspire and reclaim their powers. Let's dive in. This week we have Benny Cartwright, San Diego Community. I would say he's a hero. He's a role model. Him and Rick Cervantes have been together for a very long time, and they've made a great impact in the San Diego community. And I would like to dive in and welcome Benny Cartwright. Woo! Let me get
Yes, I'm glad to be here. Sorry,
Hold on.
Rick couldn't make it, but I'm glad to be here.
No, I'm just one, two, three. Here we go. Thank you for
There we go. I love that.
I gotta do it all. I gotta thank you so much. All right.
I love that.
Benny, you're an amazing guy. How did you become so busy? Like, how did you and Rick just like, because then you're like, no, we got to top. No, we can do better than that. Now we can do this. So, and I know you know several things, but would like the stories come from you because you're not only our advocate, but also our historian. Because when you've been in the community and what you've done, you've already seen in the 25 years, 30 years you've been in our community. So please show us your rainbow crosswalk because I know it's taking every year's a different color and you keep taking us further on. So we're interested.
I love that. Well, and thank you. And I think it's so important to document our community's history. Places like the Lambda Archives do that. But, the more places we can have people tell stories that are archived like this are the better. So long story short, I've been doing this stuff since I was about 16 years old, which is 30 years ago, which I can't believe because I still feel like I'm 20. And suddenly it's been 30 years. And I remember being in my 20s and hearing about people who have worked in the community for 20 years. And I thought, how incredible. And now I've been in the community longer than those people. Long story short, the real reason I got really involved was because when I went to San Diego State University as a first-time freshman, I grew up here in San Diego. I was 18 years old, though, and I decided I was going to be out of the closet to everyone I met at SDSU because I was not out of the closet at my high school here in San Diego. I found the LGBT student group on the campus, and they were going through rough times, and they only had about 4 members. And, SDSU has a wide, diverse range of students ranging from, traditional age, 18 to 22, all the way up to like 60-year-olds that have gone back to college. So the club included a wonderful straight lady that was about my age, but then a guy that went back to school in his 40s and a guy that went back to school in his 70s. And those were the 3 members. And then I came in. I'll be real. When I was an 18-year-old Twinkie gay boy, I wanted to meet other Twinkie gay boys. That's why I joined that's why I went there. But though they didn't exist. They didn't exist in the club. But obviously they existed at SDSU. But I really liked these people I met in the organization, and together we just said we got to build this club back to what it used to be. It was the San Diego State gay group that was instrumental in founding San Diego Pride. The earliest discussion.
I didn't know that. Thank you. That history. Go, Benny.
Yeah, the earliest discussions were made by a group called the Gay Liberation Front that was housed at SDSU in 1970, and they held the first gay day or gay inn at Presidio Park. It was 1970, so everybody was dressed in
that's
hippie.
a small park. That's smaller than the one they had North Park for
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. But they did a picnic there. There's lots of photos that document it. I encourage people to look that up on Land Archives.
We need an archives place so we can actually visually see things. We don't really have that kind of space.
Yeah. And the archives is here, but we need like a museum gallery type.
Exactly, so we can feel not just see some or whatever.
We'll get there. I know that's in their plans. But anyway, I was lucky to be at SDSU in 1998 and just meet these people. And from there, I guess I worked my first magic, and the club grew from 4 people to about, in my second year in college, we had about 75, people come into the meetings regularly, and of all diversities, of all LGBTQ and all that. So I just got really involved, and I became kind of like the gay on campus at SDSU. It took me 9 years to get my degree, which was not unusual at SDSU in those days because it was very cheap to go to SDSU in those days, and it was kind of considered the second class school to UCSD. Took my time, but got so involved and created so many programs, and through that I got to meet so many people out in the greater LGBT community. And since then I've just been working on so many things, ranging from
You haven't
fighting
stopped.
fighting for marriage equality. I've been employed at the LGBT Center for nearly, I was employed at the LGBT Center for nearly a decade. I was the first executive director paid to run the San Diego Gay Men's Chorus. I don't sing clearly, but I ran the administration and fundraising of the nonprofit organization. I've held so many roles and so many things, and I've been on, advisory boards for the mayor and the chief of police and blah, 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 blah. And you
You
mentioned we
look
were
for every
talking
District
earlier.
3 personnel too that gets voted in. You usually work
I
with
worked for
them.
Council Member Whitburn as a rep. I now
Yeah.
work for the city in a different role. And like you were saying when we started, and that's the end of this first story, is anyone can do anything without like a title or a crown. And I know we have a lot of wonderful community members in kind of like the cord and the leather and the title system.
People are still
I
learning
have
too how to use their
yeah,
sash and in a productive
I
way.
have
You got,
yeah, I have never been a title holder. I've never been a crown holder because I just never went that route of joining any
because
of
you're
those
junior mayor
organizations.
scepters from the like Nicole Murray herself.
Yeah,
Like, I
so
mean,
I have gotten a million things from Nicole, but I have just done what I've always wanted to do. One thing that I kind of call a flaw is I I don't do as well working like in groups. Like I like Rick and I just to be able to do our own thing, like our cleanup and cocktails recreated. It's just our own thing, and like our Hillcrest Honors. So we don't have a board we have to answer and get things approved by. We just do what we want to do, and I kind of like working that way. And we've made an impact that way. So
well,
point of
you're
all that
being
is
constant.
you can.
Nobody's,
You don't need to join an organization to make change. You don't need a title. You don't need an official leadership role. But there are a lot of great organizations like Kiwanis Hillcrest or the Imperial Court or Gay
exactly. I'm honored
Radio.
to be a Kiwanis.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're honored to have you. So anyway, that's my first part.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. All of these things you've gotten into. Okay, so you started out at San Diego State because you were just trying to find other twinks, and then you
Yeah,
ended up becoming
basically.
like the God creator of our community. Bam! There's gay pride. Bam! There's a gay club on SDSU campus. And then now that you've progressed, now you're cooking with gas in your 30s and 40s, right? Because now you're doing politics and helping us make sure we don't have transgender and LGBT rights taken away. Make sure we have housing for our LGBT and elderly. You know what I mean? So I mean, you guys stepped up. Like, how did you create the Hillcrest Honors? I can understand doing the cleanup Hillcrest. I think everybody, that's an easy way to inspire people to do
Yeah,
something that you could do in your community. And now you've grown so well. We've had over 100 people underneath that Hillcrest sign. I mean, I
yeah.
would do it more if I was still closer, of course. But
176 at our biggest. Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, I love that. I mean, I made sure I tried to stand up and be that representative that other
yeah.
people follow because we were
We
always
love
there.
that.
And,
Yeah, we
I
love
would
that.
follow you guys into
Yeah,
anything. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
frisbees, water guns, whatever. I mean,
I
I'm just
love it.
saying you
I
guys
love
are
it.
great leaders. And I mean, how can I, whatever? It's like
Yeah,
sincerest form of flattery is to repeat what you're doing or to not be like you,
yeah,
but to do it in a
yeah,
way. And that's what I'd want to do is give the skills in our conversations of sharing stories. How can we give
yeah,
people these skills? Because you
yeah,
can easily just pick it up in
yeah.
the story.
Well, I believe in, first of all, I believe in a couple things. And I said this at a Kiwanis meeting the other night when Council Member Whitburn came to visit us. That's our city council member for the area
Yes,
that
he's a
Hillcrest is
wonderful
in.
guy.
Yeah,
He's come a
great
long
guy.
way too.
And hope he's on your show soon. Yeah. And if he
Well, I
hasn't
would love
already,
to get him on the show. I got to
yeah,
get him.
I can connect you to the people.
All
Um,
right. Yes,
so,
baby.
um, and he speaks really well because he used to be a radio host. Anyway, um, one thing I said is just because someone is elected to office, I don't consider them a leader. And a lot of people eyes like bugged up and like were freaked out of where I was going with
Well,
that.
your actions speak louder than words. I mean, it's not
Yeah,
what you
yeah,
say,
we
you
elect,
talk. It's putting your
we,
feet
ele-
to
yep,
it.
we elect people to represent us and serve us at the government level. They only become a leader in my eyes if they prove themselves as somebody we can rally around and trust. So why I say that is because you don't, like I said, you don't need to be elected to office to be a leader. Um, Rick and I actually created the Hillcrest Cleanup and Cocktails. Next one's March 14th. Um, Not particularly to clean up trash. That's a good part of it because obviously we do our part, but Hillcrest is always going to be messy. It's usually messy the next day because of the drunk crowd that goes out that
Crowd or
night.
whatever the night
Um,
before. Yeah,
but
especially
but
homeless people too.
the real reason we did it is to one, make sure people know that they can make a difference by doing a small thing. But bigger than that is we're trying to build community in the neighborhood. Hillcrest has been a dynamic neighborhood since it became gay in the late 70s, early 80s. And Hillcrest is changing more drastically than ever. We're seeing a lot of new luxury apartments go in. So
Apartments and condos. Yeah,
more wealthy people are moving in. These
we
apartments
still
are,
need senior citizen and
yeah,
affordable housing for
yeah,
people,
we need all that. And these new
especially for
apartments are,
LGBT.
yeah, these new apartments are gorgeous and they have everything you need
Yeah, but
inside
who
them.
can make
But
$3,000 a month to pay for it?
yeah,
I
that's
mean,
what I'm saying. So they're like
unless you got five
hotel
people living
resorts.
with you,
Yeah. So if you live in them, you don't need to go outside of your apartment building because
right?
you've
You
got
got
everything
everything in
there.
there.
Yeah. So I feel like a lot of our new
Garbage
neighbors
to garage.
are not engaging in the neighborhood. The Hillcrest I've known for the last 30 years. So we want to make sure that everyone in Hillcrest has a can come together and meet other people.
Well,
We have
even
had
the
so many.
millennials, they're all on the phone. So
Yeah,
basically, you want
yeah,
to bring,
absolutely.
and then we're still trying to fight COVID because people are still trying to stay home. And really,
Yeah,
since COVID, people
yeah.
still are coming out in new
People
strains of
still aren't.
COVID. But it's
People
getting
can't get
people
off their phone.
together to
Yeah,
gather because we
yeah.
haven't done that in
That's
so long
that
and knowing
is
each other's human touch
yeah,
in just some way,
and
whether it be intellect
that is
or
the
what. But
main
yes.
yeah, that is the main point of the cleanup because then after, of course, Moe's gives
Well,
everyone a
and
free
I
drink
think
and
that's
there's
an improvement.
appetizers.
Everybody gets a little gets a drink and stuff because that's
Yeah,
incentive,
yeah.
and their
So that
food
is
is always
exactly
delicious at most.
it is. That is exactly why we do this to build community. Now you asked how we started the Hillcrest Honors.
Yes.
6 years ago, because Rick and I have been in the neighborhood a long time, and we realized, I have written for all the gay newspapers that have ever existed in this town the last 20 years, and they've all gone out of business except for the Word San Diego. But that's not really a gay newspaper; it's a monthly
I used to
feature
write for the
magazine.
San Diego Gay and Lesbian Times 30
So
years
yeah,
ago, like back in
so
the day. Well, I don't
so
know,
did I. So we're
1991.
both
So,
alumni.
you
We
know,
realize so there's because of the changing media landscape, there's not really gay newspapers anymore. So there's really
yeah,
nowhere for the
there's no gay
community to go
rags.
to go get bar rags, yeah, or to go get information. We love Hillcrest. We know about Hillcrest. So Rick created Hillcrest San Diego on Instagram. He grew it from 0 to 40,000 followers very quickly with no pay. He didn't pay for ads. He didn't pay for followers. He's never boosted a post with money.
That's my
Just,
podcast. We're all making our
just
differences with our
they're gonna
powers in
do.
the right
Yep,
way.
yep,
And so again,
and
if I could get
yep,
as many views as just as it, it's again power
yeah. Yeah.
of
So
uniting.
he did that. He did that by just creating that, and people have come to respect that. After a couple years of the Instagram account, we thought, the Nikki Awards had kind of gone away. That used to be the community awards. And, they in later years, people kind of sometimes questioned how fair they were. And sometimes they were seen as a popularity contest because it's just whoever got the most votes. We don't do votes at Hillcrest Honors. So we thought we have the power of this Instagram account. Let's just have people nominate some really cool people who stand out in the neighborhood and post them on the Instagram account. And we did that first year, and it got such a good reception. We said, let's do a celebration party for these people. And
Well,
we
let
did
people get
that.
enough recognition for what they do in the
Yeah.
community.
Yeah.
And yes,
And
so
that's
that we are still
exactly why
getting
we created
community
it.
involvement.
So, yep. So we had a party, and now besides Pride, it has become the party of the year for neighborhood people. We're delaying it this year till May. We usually do in February, so everyone I
I
know
know,
is
and
asking
I
when
missed
is
it. I was like, wait a minute, okay.
no, where and there's a secret reason why, but it's nothing dramatic. It's actually a cool surprise, what I'll talk about another day. But it's gonna be in May this year. But everybody is just so excited for it. And what's special about it is when we do take nominations, but we require the nominations to have a written statement. You have to tell us why this person deserves to be honored, not just send us a name.
Well, I think that's great too,
The-
because then you can see if they're respected by other people and what they do in the
yeah,
community and how they're seen.
absolutely,
So
absolutely.
honestly,
Number
yeah,
two, yeah, number two. Once we do
I would love
nominations,
to be
there is
nominated.
you might have
I
been. I haven't gone through all 400 of
don't
them yet.
know.
So number two, there's no voting. A lot of award shows just had voting, so whoever got their friends to vote for them won,
If
even
they
if they
say
don't
something
necessarily deserve
wonderful,
it.
then yeah, hello, they don't want to be
Yeah.
recognized.
And so that happened way too much. And the final thing I'm going to say about it is we don't call any category, like we don't have like best bartender, best this, best activist. Nobody is
We
the
got like
best.
10 and 20 people that are posse in our community. I could name off 5 DJs off the top
Yeah.
of my head, all
Yeah.
women even. Like
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
again,
And
LGBTQ. I mean,
none of them are the best. They are just great. So our awards instead of best are called fabulous bartender. And
exactly.
we do more
Exactly.
than one. We do more than one every year. So it's just become a thing. And Rick and I just did it on our own. We have a great volunteer team, some from Kiwanis, but many from the community that help us run the day of. I'm going to start needing more help as it grows. Like,
You're gonna have
as
to
we
start
set up and
calling
do the
Kiwanis.
ticketing. But it's not a Kiwanis event and it never will be
Well,
because
no,
we
I
want it
mean
to be
volunteer
our
wise, because
thing.
Kiwanis is
But
really good about
yeah,
supporting
they
every
they
community and
yep,
every group again.
yep,
So
yep. Kiwanis sends us a lot.
you
Obviously,
guys
we
are
love Kiwanis.
hands down like the first people to volunteer to show up besides the Bears. So
Yeah, absolutely. So, and we're glad to support the Bears and they support us. But so that's how the honors began, and we're just so excited. This will be the fourth annual, and then next year will be the fifth, and we have big
have you
plans for
guys
that.
tried out
So,
about maybe like doing camp event or camp? Because when I lived in Albany, we called this, it was Therapy Thursday Awards, because Thursday night was the night because people don't go out on the week, or they already go over the weekend. People are
right,
rampant. Some people work the weekends. So Thursday night, everybody would like close down the streets, coming out at 2 o'clock, and we're coming out. Like Therapy Thursday, after like college, whatever, young people. It was a really small bar, because I'm guessing bars in New York, double star. You have to
right,
crawl up the stairs to dance, and the DJ booth up there, but and the bars downstairs. But they called them Therapy Thursday Awards. We had like the most popular and stuff like that, kind of like high school themes, because really, when a lot of people us, we couldn't go to our proms. So
yeah,
really just help celebrate in this way too, I guess, to make some things fun. I don't know, or even
yeah.
make that a whole
Well,
separate thing,
and you
award
might,
ceremony, because you already got it really big. But I'm just
yeah.
saying,
No, you might have a really great idea actually for something Kiwanis could do. I'm right now
I mean,
encouraging
something of
Kiwanis
that nature.
to,
It can be because I have still have the. It's just like a little Oster dude, and it was like the most popular or the best dancer or something simple, but
yeah,
it was just
yeah,
to
yeah,
share the joyness in the world, that people
yeah,
recognize that bitch doesn't sit down, she's dancing all the time, or you know
yeah,
what I mean,
yeah,
and
yeah.
gets
Why
people on the
why I
dance
say
floor. I
that?
don't
Yeah.
know
Why I
what
say
your
that? Why I
power
say
is
yeah. Why I say
to
that?
make
So
it cute.
we're definitely not going to change the Hillcrest Honors because it's great.
Oh no,
But
no, okay,
what
okay, but I'm giving
but
you
what you
ideas. See,
no, what you said was a
inspiration.
great idea because Kiwanis exists to serve children and youth, and I think it'd be fantastic for Kiwanis to do something to uplift high school kids and youth
Well, that
that we
exactly
don't.
too. Who's helping out in their community, and there you go. Then you're
Yeah,
getting future Kiwanis because you're working
yeah,
on a junior
yeah,
Kiwanis.
yeah. So you just came up with a great idea that I might share with them to take on. I don't know. So that's a
And
great idea.
please,
So
I'm happy. Well, we're all Kiwanis.
absolutely,
But
yeah,
this is what I like to do is we need to have power sessions with people. Like, I don't want to be unethically upsetting anybody. I'm always have good intentions, but
yeah,
sometimes you're not perfect and you're human. So how can we help each other be better and give each? Because the biggest one thing I would say is confidence. When you came out, nobody had confidence. I didn't have confidence till the woman took me home. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I knew I was a lesbian, but I didn't know
of
what
course,
I'm supposed to do or how this all transpires. But lo and behold, we get on the bike and we learn what's going on. So I
yeah,
mean, it's
absolutely,
dip me in honey and throw me to the lesbians. So I got this now.
yeah,
So
and I love it,
again,
and here you are. So here you are. Yeah, that's great.
but you guys are
That's so great.
beautiful. Okay, so so what makes your relationship strong? You guys have been together for what, 25 years? You guys met really
20,
young.
20. He would have been 15 if that was the case. 20. I met
Oh,
him when he
dude.
was
Okay,
20.
well, I'm not trying to get anybody in trouble here.
No,
Okay,
no.
I don't want
I met
anybody
him
to
when
get
he was I met him when
arrested.
he was 20. I was 26. So
Oh,
perfect line.
see? Well, then
Yeah,
you're
we
not that
met
much
at
older.
no, I'm not. But when you're 20 and 26, there's actually quite a yeah, it feels different. He was a student at SDSU. He actually came into my my LGBT center there to get involved. And we kind of just grew up in the community together. Obviously, I started in the community about 10 years
You
before
saw
him,
what you
but
were doing, and I want to
but
be like you.
but but we were just, yeah, and we just, in the early days, sometimes he'd be like, why is Benny dragging me to all this? And he wasn't always on board, but now we obviously,
But look
I
at the
couldn't do
skills
it.
he learned from you. So look at that. I
Yeah,
mean,
absolutely.
boom,
Yeah,
dude.
and
I'm just
honestly, I don't have the energy to do any of it without him anymore, and I think we
exactly.
work
It
so
takes
well
two of you,
together.
Wonder Twin
Yeah,
powers.
yeah, and we just built it all together, and we just, we both enjoy the same things. We have the same view on the community, and the way we build things. So
Well, isn't
that's
that why you're the
why,
most San Diego one of the top San Diego top gay couples in our community? And, not only role
yeah,
models, but just
yeah,
relationship goals. Because I'm not
yeah,
trying to flop around. I mean,
yeah,
every relationship is different, and but
yeah,
you guys have found the treasure that you are together, and that how can we help people
yeah,
realize that it doesn't have to be fireworks, but you're gonna have that. You just I don't know,
yeah,
be open to it. I don't know. But it's
absolutely,
beautiful.
yeah,
I mean, you guys warm
yeah.
my heart all the time I see you. I give you big
Yeah,
hugs.
and with like interpersonal stuff, which I'm not going to get too into because we're, believe it or not, as public as we are, we're very private, and but we handle like fights or stress differently. Like, I like am a talker, and like if we fight, like I just want to talk, and that Rick needs time to himself, and he needs to be alone, and he like gives me the silent treatment, and that makes me insane. But I make him insane by talking too much. So we've just learned to kind
It's
of,
just a computer.
balance.
He's got to process it. You got to
Yeah,
give him
we've
give me
learned
a
it.
minute.
We've learned to balance it. I've learned to like
Speed
give
comes
him space, and
together.
I've learned to give him space, and he'll, come back to me in a couple hours.
But you're also more
Um,
mature and you know more. So you know what I'm saying? You
yeah,
can only
yeah.
just
So,
divulge the knowledge you
so
have to share with him.
yeah.
So
So but that all works, and we understand each other, and we learn to give each other the space and the different styles, because every relationship, no one's identical. That'd be a boring relationship. So
what I really admire you for is how do you took all that besides creating new clubs and creating spaces for gay people to go to so they could be and learn confidence to be comfortable with themselves. How did you take that and move that into politics? Because I feel that that's almost like a match made in heaven, kind of like a Valentine's Day thing, that you took what you learned and now you're putting it to politics for us. Not only just standing up for you,
yeah,
but standing up for other people. And you're still doing the
yeah,
same thing, but you're doing it where
yeah,
it really counts. Because, like today, Kansas has declined everybody that's transgender licenses. That is totally
yeah.
unethically wrong.
It
And just
is.
so you know, there's probably so many suits, but how many states are actually going to be stupid enough to follow them in some
Yeah,
degree? And then it's like taking away rights. Like, you can't say
yeah,
somebody had this one day and take it away the next day. Just
yeah,
like I know they're working on taking gay marriage. So,
yeah.
anyway, how do
Well,
you feel?
my theory develops one. I've been involved in politics since I was 15 years old.
See, and
Actually I
bless
worked for
you. I can
I
only
worked for
dream
the
to be like
yeah,
you.
I work
Yoda.
I work for this I work for the city, and they just did a profile on me for the employee newsletter last week, and um, what I shared there was that actually when I was 15 years old in 1995, I actually interned for one of our city council members. She's long gone and dead now, but I interned for the city council, and I always wanted to go back to working at the city, and it took 25 years, but I got hired at the city officially in 2020. Now, I've always been involved in the marriage equality fights. I've always been involved in all of that stuff. I've obviously at the center, I did outreach and public advocacy. That was my job. But what's interesting, I think, about me is I've always done politics sort of my own way. Like, I think when you get too caught up in like political groups, there's roadblocks because you're trying to appease your funders. And believe it or not, like my most recent group, Kiwanis, Kiwanis by design internationally does not do politics. We don't talk about politics at our meetings. That is forbidden. And except at the end when people like take the mic and
Well,
have the
that's good to
dollar and
know.
you
I
can,
never
yeah,
tried. So,
yeah, yeah. No, but the reason is because we have one mission and one mission at all, and it's to serve the children
kids.
of the world. And you can imagine how if we were all getting so political, how that could tear us apart. And I don't even mean because I know in our club everybody leans progressive and left leaning in our club, in our chapter. There's some Kiwanians in other
We
chapters
have
that are
some
very
open discussion. There's a big,
conservative.
we're all gray areas.
Yeah, but what I do know that can cause so many things is that unfortunately on the left where we are, there's a lot of purity politics these days, and people are eating our community alive because, oh, you didn't do this the right way, you didn't say the right thing, you didn't post the Ukraine flag when everybody was posting it. And, we're playing these purity politics games on the left, and it's why we've been losing, because we're eating ourselves alive instead of going
We're
against the
fighting
bad
against each
people.
other rather than you being
Yeah.
united, and that's
And I
because
know that
they're
can
making us
feel
look at each other and fight
yeah,
rather than
that can
us do
feel,
exactly what they're doing. They're
yeah,
giving us a puppet show while they're doing things that we know are
yeah,
illegal because they
yeah.
want us to be at each other.
Yeah. So I'm glad that we don't do politics in Kiwanis either, because I wouldn't want our own members
It would
to
be a
start
long
eating
time
each other up.
discussion, right?
Now, what we do though in Kiwanis is though inherently political, because we are supporting the most marginalized children. We're not going out there, saying like, oh, let's stand up for, trans healthcare. But our members do that on their own time. But we are providing services to trans youth in need. That's inherently political. Um, so
Well,
that's how
just like
I've
you
been.
guys stood up for Grandma Dana,
Yeah,
and with her
we.
cancer, that's the most
Yeah,
beautiful thing I've seen.
yeah,
She's heterosexual. She
yeah,
supported our community,
yeah,
and she's everybody's grandma, and
yeah.
she loves our
And
community.
she's
So
someone
I
who is
love that
being.
you guys
She's
brought
someone
that
who's being.
together.
She's someone who's being screwed by our awful healthcare system. So it's
Yes.
inherently political that we're coming together to help her pay her medical bills that our government should pay
Well,
for.
when
So
you have cancer, you shouldn't have to worry about paying the dang bill. You know what I'm saying?
not
You
at
know they're
all. Not
completely
at all.
outrageous, and everybody.
Not
I
at
would say
all.
10% of people can afford the freaking bills. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Everybody
I
else
know.
is
I
they
know.
can't. They're
I'm so
just
lucky to, work
especially
for
the
the city and
meds.
I'm so worried to work for the city and have good insurance, but even then, if something catastrophic happened, they don't pay for everything. Now, the other thing that I say about politics, and then I'm done with that rant, is that there are so many people doing amazing political things behind the scenes that are actually making change. But what happens on our very vapid social media is people will call each other out for not making a post or showing everything they're doing on social media. Honestly, if all I do is see you posting on social media, I don't really think you're doing anything.
I'll be
The
like, "Are
people
you
I
doing a
know,
soap opera because you're trying to get views?"
yeah,
I'm like, "What,
yeah.
dude? You're
The
fake."
the people who are the people who are actually doing things, because I know them, because I see them, don't post on social media. I post very little on social media anymore because I'm just too old and don't care. So if you just looked at my social these last couple months, you wouldn't think I'm doing anything, but I'm doing more than I've ever done. I just don't have the time or energy to post about it because that's not going to make a difference. What's making a difference is the work we're doing, like, with legislators. And obviously there's something to be said about spreading awareness, but for the people who are calling people out, because they don't see them
There's a
posting on
lot of people
social media.
calling each other out right now, so
Yeah,
that's very
and
disheartening.
shame on those people, because you don't know what they're actually doing to make
You don't
change.
know. You
Just
can't put
because,
yourself in somebody else's shoes unless you've actually
yeah,
walked the same path.
yeah.
So
Some
you
people
don't
aren't even
really
on.
know.
I mean, I have friends that aren't even on social media anymore because they can't stand it. But they're doing so much for the
I just
community.
try to kill
But you're
people
not.
with kindness. So
Yeah, yeah. So that's how I look at politics, and we just have a big road to
it's
fight,
a
and we need
boat.
to stop.
Sometimes I just don't like to get in it. You know what I mean? I only picked
Yeah,
one because in order so I could be for the early voting and stuff like that. If you didn't pick a party, because I've done independent
yeah.
too. So
Yeah, I've
you
I've
gotta
I've been
get you.
independent. Yeah. When I was 18, I was Republican for a year because I didn't know any better. That's what my family was. And Republicans in California were very different 30 years ago than they are today.
See, so if we had a
So
museum of LGBTQ history, you and Rick would be in it because you started at 15. I went to the Flame. I moved here, and I graduated high school because if it wasn't for moving here, I would have never graduated from high school. I graduated from Crawford High School,
yep, love
so
it.
I said that still considers me. I'm a San Diegan. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because San Diego's my
I would.
heart, my home, and
Yeah,
it's just learning, that was a tough neighborhood, and just learn it and coming out. And I snuck into a bar at 18 and I went into the Flame, and that still kills me. But luckily the sign is still there because that was
yep.
a hub for so many lesbians coming
It
out, whether
was
you're visiting
for
or
so
not.
much. Yeah, for
And
20
and
ye-
I
for
and I
20
appreciate
years.
being in the PBS thing when we were doing the thing for bars. I missed
Yeah,
the Caliph, the only piano bar. Like those are
that's
intricate things, and I
very
think because of you guys were
huge
there would have
loss.
never been no PBS. So we did that together to make that happen, to create the
Yeah,
PBS and,
yeah.
and document
We
our history. So I'm just
Yeah,
saying
and 20. I mean,
teamwork.
obviously PBS has been around forever, but 20 years ago, the reason we had so many gay rags was because the mainstream
We
media
couldn't
would
do much
not
about
tell our
PBS.
stories, even PBS. We had to tell our own stories. Now you can pick up the Union Tribune and they're talking about our community all the time, and that's great. But it also as lost having our own media where we can,
I just feel some of the negativity lately and whatever, like heterosexual people trying to pick up a third, being rude in the bar, just simple etiquette things. I don't know. It just doesn't make any
yeah,
sense because, okay,
well,
Lamisa Lamazel, when somebody starts drinking, you don't
yeah,
know what kind of
yeah.
gloves are coming off. So,
Yeah. Well, and that's become a real struggle. A lot of people talk about how, especially like on Wednesday nights at certain nightclubs on the block, it's mostly straight young people, and a lot of
yeah.
people, feel harassed. And what happened was it's kind of I don't can't think of the word, but the consequence of our equality, because so many more people are comfortable coming to our bars. When you and I started going to bars, nobody wanted to be seen in a gay bar unless they were gay, and most of us didn't even want to be seen in gay bars because we were scared to be seen, except for a few really cool straight women who were our allies. Now everybody wants to come to a gay bar because everyone loves Drag Race and it's fun and the drinks are good and the dancing. But once the drinks start flowing, we get straight guys in there that forget whose community they are in, and will say the fag word, and harass gay guys who hit on them by accident, and that's
You got to take that
unfortunate.
as a compliment. You can't be mad at that. He thought you were cute, right? Okay, so
They need to take that as a compliment, but unfortunately, it shows that the underlying homophobia is
they're
still
still
there, and
very
that
homophobic. Yeah.
that gay panic we used to call it
If
is
you
still
like that,
there.
then don't come into the bar at all, dude. Don't even come. Like, keep
Yeah,
that elsewhere.
yeah,
Just really look at
yeah,
that. I mean, Orlando and the bar there, that guy, he was just discovering himself, probably coming out. And then he went to the bar and took
yeah,
everybody. So it's just,
totally.
these are the things. If we can make people feel more comfortable, then they're not going to get upset and say, hey, man,
Yeah,
I
it
get
shows
guys
that.
come up to me and they're giving me Google eyes. I'm like, you know what? I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. But I
Yeah,
really like women.
but
And
no,
what else are you
thank
supposed to
you.
say? And then there's their face
But no,
goes.
thank you. Yeah, but it does show we still, even in places like San Diego and California, which are safe-ish for LGBTQ people, there is a lot of education to do. And you and I have been in San Diego a long time. I grew up here. We know that outside of our central core, there are still places that, San Diego County is very unique because there are whole
Well, North County
stretches
is
of,
even beautiful too. And then they have the North
yeah,
County LGBT Center up there too. So
yeah,
trying to
but there
involve
are
them
whole
so we were coming
there
together as one community.
there
Because when
are
I was
but there
missing
are still
yesterday, I went to all of them. So
Yeah, but there are still whole stretches of our county that are Trump territory. San Diego's
that
not
doesn't
all
make
blue
any
and
sense, right?
green
I got to
ones.
skip
So
over.
yeah, well, growing up here, it makes sense because I know the kind of people I grew up around, and
Well, if you have money to live by the beach, right? So
yeah, but but out in East County, there's there's people that have different opinions, and so there's still a lot of education to do even here. We are not all just one big happy, everybody loves gays territory. I mean, we still have people driving through Hillcrest throwing eggs at us and shooting pellet guns and yelling faggot, which I thought we got rid of in the '80s,
well,
but
I
they're
thought
still
we
doing
were
that.
like so much more intelligent and have gotten better as Homo sapiens to understand people are different.
Yeah,
People from
yeah,
different countries are still bringing their culture here and trying
yeah,
to live with their rules and adapt. I mean, so we are
yeah.
very
And
diversified, and it's not
you would think
necessarily,
being the most, we are the
your
most,
sexuality; it's the culture.
we are the most informed humans in history because we have more access to information than ever, but we still have not been able to root out hate and ignorance and stupidity. And honestly, because we have so much access to information, I
Domestic
think it's,
violence. I don't understand why gay people have domestic violence. I'm like, are
yeah,
you? I just don't
yeah,
understand that. Like,
I think,
really, and that's you degrading
unfortunately,
and taking away
yeah.
your courage.
Yeah,
So
unfortunately, I just think in some humans there is, a primal instinct to be abusive, and that's awful. But I just think, we're still animals, and that's not an excuse for anyone. But I just think it's in them, and I think the social media is actually fueling more hate. People that, people feel bold now. They're just like, I don't care
they
anymore.
don't care
Like
what they don't give
there
a
was a
care
period
about
where
what they're
people,
saying anymore
yeah,
in their
there was a
messages.
period where people at least hid their hatred. They were afraid. Now they don't care anymore. So it's
In 1997 and 1998, when I was Ms. A jury, I raised over $10,000 for the battered women and children's shelter called the Sojourner Center in Phoenix.
oh,
I
I
helped
love
them. They
that.
were only
Uh-huh.
a five. It was just a regular house with 5 rooms,
Right.
and
Yep.
raising all that money, they were able to buy land from the city of Phoenix. They had 20 more beds. I helped them physically actually handle the mattresses and bring them inside as they were making it. Now they have a secondhand store and things like that, so they've completely outgrown.
Wonderful. Something to be proud of.
Leaving with legacies. How can we inspire people to do those things just because? And I think if you break the
Absolutely.
cycle education is power. Knowledge is power. Realize,
It
okay, you
sure
don't have to have
is.
somebody beat you down is not love. We want to build you up and then shine and then look at you,
Yeah,
man. And then
yeah,
you can
and
take
then
us as the
and
community with you.
and we keep going. So yeah, I think you said it all there. That's wonderful.
Yeah,
So
so okay. So where are we going to see? Okay, what do you guys? So thank you for sharing with me about the awards because I was like, it's now March. We didn't see the awards, so I didn't know what was happening. When
yeah,
besides May for the Hillcrest Honors that you guys created, and now in your fifth year, where else can we see you? Because you said you're not a social media person, but I want people to know what a
okay,
wonderful jewel
yeah.
that you are in our community.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Well, I will say I'm actually a huge social media person. That is my career. I work in communications, but just lately I'm just less posting on social media personally.
when you
We
get
have
tired, you
Hillcrest.
do it all day at work. Who wants to do it
I
at
know.
home?
I know.
That's why you have
I
to do
do
the thing
post.
when you're saving
Yeah.
something, you share it with Facebook and Instagram at the same time, and then this one
Yeah.
less you
Yeah.
have to.
And I don't not post anymore, but it's
Mhm.
just not as much as I used to now. Everyone should be following Hillcrest San Diego on Instagram. That is Rick's account that I support and help, and that's got, there's 5 to
It's
10
very
posts every single
informative.
day. It's all the news you'll ever need about Hillcrest, but also regular city news. He posts fun things
Neighborhood.
sometimes. We do a lot of Hillcrest throwback photos that people love of Hillcrest all the way back to its
So this we're
early
gonna
days
recap.
to
Rick created the Hillcrest San Diego. So you being your partner and at only 6 days, or sorry, 6 years apart, you guys created the honors. You guys created the Hillcrest cleanup. Like you created the San Diego. Like so, to me, you just blew my mind and gave me goosebumps because you were historic and need to be in the museum because you and
yeah.
Rick both for what you've done.
Well, I
So
will say I will say we are in the Lambda Archives, which is our
okay,
museum here.
perfect.
They just
Well, I would
so
love to see
there's
it.
several there's
You know.
several files. There's actually even there's a 30-minute video interview of me from 2007 where I talked just like this about similar issues, but I just found it the other day. I'm going to post some of it to social media. Um, but we're in there a little bit, but yes, they need to keep collecting the things we're doing, but the things everyone's doing. And it's actually harder to collect history today. We had a presentation from the Lambda Archives because there's so much stuff, just like social media videos. And how do you collect all that? In the old days, we would just collect flyers and buttons and T-shirts and
You need
physical
somebody to be
copies of the
editing all
news
that stuff together,
the
probably, right?
newspapers. Now there's just like nonstop content every single day. What's worth saving and what's not. So,
In
that's the.
1991, I was the last Miss Huggy Bear for San Diego, so for women,
Oh,
because
I
they
love that. Oh, there hasn't been a Miss
or no,
Huggy
I
Bear
think that there
since.
was somebody I gave away the title to, but it was like it was on the spot. And they were trying to get more women involved to
I
just do
love it.
something in the community. Again, you don't have to have a title or a sash, but they gave you a
Yeah.
title, and and I just remember because that Huggy Bear is not only for the Bears but also for the Imperial Court. You were a
Yes,
combination of
absolutely. Absolutely. So, and I love I know there's the Mr. Huggy Bear. So, but to finish your question, people can find us at Kiwanis, Hillcrest every second and fourth Thursday, 6:30 at Uptown Tavern.
you have
Um,
fabulous gatherings of lots of
yes,
interesting people in
it's
our
a great
community,
gathering.
education.
Yep, we have 50 to 60 guests every week. Everyone's always welcome. There's always a
You don't
speaker.
have
There's
to be a
always
member
fun.
to come to the meetings.
You do not have to be a member. There is never pressure for that. The next meeting on March 12th will feature Andrew Picard, who's the CEO of Stepping Stone, which they do, of course,
Oh yes,
LGBT
we need
drug and
Stuff.
alcohol
Yes,
recovery.
because we were
Yes,
trying to come up. We're doing a fundraiser with Al-Anon, the Alano Club.
wonderful, wonderful. So Andrew's going to be there. Now
They need a
it is a
permanent
bar.
space, so they're trying to
Yeah,
combine the two.
so exactly, and that'd be great. So we'll ask Andrew about that. Now Uptown is a bar, so even though Andrew's coming, you can certainly order a cocktail if you want or not, because that's something you can do at our meetings is eat and drink on your own dime. And then the meeting after that on March 26th will be our annual Easter egg stuffing party. We collect eggs for the
For the
Imperial
Imperial
Court
Court and for the trolley
Easter egg hunt,
kids.
and we fill 3,000 eggs with jelly beans. We spend the meeting doing that, and
I
that's a lot
heard
of
he's
fun.
getting big on bikes
Um,
too, and getting the kids with bikes, and the kids get
yeah,
excited about
yeah,
winning a
they
bike.
collect a
So
lot of bikes. We don't do the bikes and all that. We just focus on eggs, but people can donate bikes. They can
crazy
donate
stuff that the
pre-made
kids can win. That's all I'm saying.
pre-made Easter
And
baskets,
the
all
kids
that.
get
All
excited.
Yep, it's so much fun. Visit the Imperial Courts page or Mikey Lochner's page. It says everything they need. You can find.
Well, Benny, you are the bomb. You and Rick both. Hopefully, you're going to come back so we can say goodbye. But see, isn't it wonderful? All these interesting people with stories. I know there's lots of you out there, and I need more because I'm not going to stop. And this is my congratulations to me, my year. Okay. Pinky's Powerhouse Productions podcast has been on for a year. So I want to continue and share good stories and inspire others to do good things because Benny and Rick have always inspired me, and I've always looked up to them, as role models in our community. And how can I be more like them? And what can we do? Um, okay, so okay, maybe he'll come back, but I want to thank you all for tuning in because Benny and Rick are the bomb. Hello there. How you doing? We lost video. Are you there? Testicle difficulties.
Technical difficulties, but I think we had. If I can't get this to work, I think we had a
That's
wonderful
okay. I get your voice. There we go. Yay!
There we go.
Okay, you're back.
Yeah. Woo! And I think, although I don't see myself moving, but oh well. I was just basically saying to end is find Rick and I on Hillcrest San Diego on Instagram, and you'll see everything we do.
And I am so grateful. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Benny Cartwright from
Had a great time.
from Hillcrest Kiwanis. We hope that you walked away inspired to create the difference you want to see in the world. Remember to share the love. See one, do one, teach one, and lead one. You're not alone. Pinky's Powerhouse Posse grows with every new listener. Join the tribe. Follow us on Instagram and subscribe. I don't have my next guest for next month because I wasn't sure. I'm kind of running it by on the whim. I'm just so grateful. Thank you, Benny, so much for being here today.
Thank you, Pinky. It was a delight. I love you, and I hope to see you soon.
It's grateful for your time. Thank you so much for sharing your stories.
Bye.
Let's have a great night.